Hi there, Kate and Fiona Pearman, joining you for this week's Facebook Live, where we continue to talk about our conversation around transformational versus transactional leadership development. Today, we really want to dig into how do leaders and organisations support women across their organisation in their care to really step into and participate in this journey of transformational leadership. And I think the first piece as leaders is to really role model. To role model and share your leadership journey. Of course, this takes a little bit of time to dig into some reflection around what was most transformative for you. I know when we asked leaders as part of a roundtable, we were hosting to think back on their own leadership journey and to think about what were really the things that mattered and made the difference. Their insights were really powerful for everyone in the room. And so just being able to share the stories, the lessons, maybe the aha moments that really shifted things for you is really powerful for others to be able to hear and then be able to reflect on in context of their own leadership journey.
Yes, I think the willingness to vulnerably share our own journey as we go through this often inspires others to reflect on and think differently about what's happening for them. And a further piece to this is them being willing to coach the people that report to you, the people in your world, and help them unpack things that are maybe sitting below the surface. I mean, if you're noticing, some of your talented, competent, the women in your team, they're not speaking up in those bigger meetings, or perhaps they're not visible in ways that matter to certain stakeholders, or they're not advocating for themselves. Help them understand the benefit of that by asking them some good questions. Get them to see what they're currently not seeing so that perhaps they're willing to take some actions that might feel a little bit difficult at first, but they know that you're encouraging them to do something different. And in the process of understanding, developing that self-awareness, they will shift something and then they will be more likely and feel more comfortable to take action.
Yeah, I think having the willingness to dig into what's going on, like asking some questions to help build their awareness around why they're not speaking up as an example, as opposed to potentially defaulting to, oh, we need more skill, right? In our experience, it's the fears, right? It's the roadblocks that is, and in context of speaking up, it's I don't want to look stupid. I'm not sure if it's my place to speak up. What if I get asked a question I can't answer? Your ability to support someone to be aware of those roadblocks and then help resource them to navigate through so that they can speak up, even if some of that is present, is really powerful. I think paying attention, to the fact that there is no one size fits all formula. What will be a roadblock for one person will not be for someone else. And so that's why the good questions is really important. Once we are aware of what's going on for someone, then we can start to support them, resource them to navigate through some of the things that are getting in the way of them achieving what they want in career and life. I think the only other thing I want to say around leaders is find the opportunities. It's one thing to have conversations. It's another to connect women with opportunities where they do need to take action, where they do need to step outside their comfort zone. And in the action taking, they will get the evidence that actually, some of these stories, some of these fears are unfounded. And as they get that evidence, they're more willing to take further small acts of confidence. And what we have is a compounding effect where we start to really calibrate some of the things that might be stopping us, which in and of itself makes it easier and more comfortable for us to continue to take action and really step into our full career potential.
Yeah, I think what's so wonderful about this and what we see time and time again in the in-house programs we facilitate is the ripple effect. When we resource women in this way and we look for opportunities, the compounding effect is not just individual, but it is across the network and the organization. And I think this is an opportunity not just for individual leaders, but culturally for organizations to really think about what are we trying to achieve here. A lot of traditional leadership programs, women in leadership programs, focus very much on the tactics, the how-to, the skills, which are useful, but only useful if I am willing to apply them and to execute on them. And if I feel unsafe or I feel unsure, I'll very often hold back. So there's a piece about auditing what we're currently doing, what's really working, what's creating sustainable long-term change. Are we measuring what's going on? Are we actually aware of what's working and what's not working? And the happy sheets of doing a half-day workshop, everyone feels inspired and happy for a moment, but there's no sustainable benefit, there's no long-term behavior change. These are the things that we think it's really worth questioning what you're doing. And once we understand that there's a more holistic way of approaching this, that when we think about transformation, it's not something can just be done in a half day or a day workshop. It is something that takes a bit of time. It does take that reinforcement of trying things, learning, sometimes it not always going perfectly, and then being willing to try again. And so programs that have continuity over time, that have multiple touch points, that engage people in thinking about their learning and encourage them to practice it regularly, are far more likely to do that deep, sustainable behavior change that we know really resources people to show up differently and to lead with confidence and courage.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth really reflecting on who you're investing in, like who you're putting through these programs. We, with all our clients, we run selection processes. We think it's really important that people think about ahead of being selected to be involved in any program, what they want to get out of it. We think it's important that they see it as an opportunity and that they're really all in. I think what's always interesting for us when we run programs in organizations is all of these participants have the same experience, yet all will have different outcomes. So the difference is not what they experience from us. In many cases, the difference is what they're willing to do, how they're willing to show up, and what they really want to, the commitment they have around what they'll take away from the program. And so I think this is a really important piece. We see women who perhaps didn't see leadership as part of their journey, holding back, and their leaders encouraging them to put applications into programs, having incredible growth journeys, and actually at the end of a 4-month program, having leadership aspirations in context of career. And so I think there's a lot of important pieces around making sure we've got the right people at the right stage of their career in the room. Important for them, important for the organisation in terms of delivering return on investment, but also important for the collective group, because we know that learning and community, we know that that journey and that connection is really important to foster and actually amplify the results of programs like this.
Yeah, so much to dig into here, and so much for organisations to consider. If you found this useful, please share it and tag people in the comments. If you'd like to learn more, make sure you follow us on the Facebook page, or head over to our YouTube channel where there's literally hundreds of videos to watch. And if you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with core confidence, head over to our website, coreconfidence.com.au.